This is the Digital Savage Experience Podcast, hosted by Roman Prokopchuk, bringing you all things digital marketing, tech, business, and motivation. What's stopping you from becoming relentless in all aspects of life? Are you ready to become a digital savage? Let's get into today's episode.
Hey everyone, this is Roman Prokopchuk, and this is the Digital Savage Experience Podcast. Today I have with me Shawn Harper. Shawn is a former NFL player who played for the Rams, Oilers, and in NFL Europe. He is an entrepreneur and author of The Winning Edge. Shawn uses strategies and techniques used by professional athletes to compete and win at the highest levels to inspire, to push individuals through their obstacles and tap into their greatest potential for business and life. Thank you for joining me today.
You know what? Thank you for having me. I hope and I pray that this will be a huge blessing to your followers and that we could change the trajectory of some people's lives.
My pleasure. So tell me a little bit about your journey. How did you get to the 2019 version of you?
You know what? I'm probably the most unlikely person to have ever achieved a level of success, or I should say winning, because I believe that each and every individual, we are called to win, not so much to be successful. And that's a whole different paradigm. But you know what? I was faced with some, insurmountable odds. I was documented with learning disabilities. If you listen real close, you can hear that I still stutter. I had stuttered my entire life. I was kicked out of a couple of schools because of disciplinary issues, single parent family, left high school with a 1.62 cumulative GPA, 9 on my ACT. But the most striking stat, I believe, outside of the learning disabilities and the failures and the setbacks, was that I barely started in high school football. I wasn't even honorable mention all conference. And I was just following that path of failure. And I get a phone call from a junior college in Mason City, Iowa. In the first year at that junior college, probably I may have played maybe one play. And it was at that moment, I'm like, you know what, there's something greater in me. I'm not here to be sub-average. And I had allowed people to label me that as sub-average. There's something greater than me. And I made probably one of the biggest paradigm shifts in my life. I said, according to society, according to this world, I will never become successful. Because we're taught, hey, to be successful, get there, go to college, you need right connections, live in a certain zip code or an area code, and I had nothing going for me. But I realized that although I might not be successful, I will win in life. And that shift, that paradigm from a success mindset to a winning mindset allowed me then to move to play, first to go off to Indiana University and then play for several NFL teams, the Rams, the Colts, Houston when they were in Houston, overseas in the NFL Europe, and to be an entrepreneur for almost 20 years. And being able to just look at life and apply winning strategies. And the secret to that, and then I'll shut up. The secret to that is that you enter the game as a winner because you are a winner. And then you just simply manifest the win that's inside of you.
And in terms of kind of transitioning, I know in terms of professional athletes, when they get out, sometimes it's hard to find kind of your next path or, what you're good at or what your motivation is. When you were done with professional football, how did you kind of continue that journey?
Well, to be really honest, Roman, I struggled. Because once I finished playing professional sports, people would come up to me, consultants, and basically corporate America. It's like, hey, football is over. Let's, close that actual wheelhouse and let's move over to, this is how we do it in corporate America. This is how you run your company, best practices, things like that. And I struggled because I was still living in that winning mindset. And basically what I've done is that I said, you know what, I'm going to convert life to a game. And if life is a game, I'm going to play to win. So I was So it was easy for me to pull the winning strategies and techniques and apply them in the corporate America. So let me give you an example. And inside of corporate America, we talk about goals, strategic plans and goals. In the NFL, we talk about strategies. And so just that little tweak in your thinking opens up an entire paradigm of opportunities. In the world or in corporate, we teach production in corporate America. Winning is about reproduction. It's totally different. So I was able to graft and able to pull some NFL, professional football or sports period analogies and practices and apply them in the corporate America. And that has helped me.
That's great. And transitioning that way and kind of utilizing that mindset to succeed is important in terms of your drive and where you're going to get to in life.
Yes, it is. It is. It actually it taps into what is in everyone. And my opinion is, and my thought process is that the win is in everyone. Let me explain to you what I mean. Let's say that we were in the great city of Dallas and we were watching the Dallas Cowboys play football, right? And so unfortunately, the Cowboys, they haven't won a game hypothetically, they haven't won a game in like 4 seasons. Like, how easy would it be for you to get a ticket? It's simple. Now, let's say that the Dallas Cowboys, they won every single game for the last 12 years. You could not find a ticket. Why? Because people identify with winning. And the reason why they identify with winning is because they're one of 2 to 3 million sperm cells that fertilize the egg. I hope no kids are listening, but it's just the reality of it all, that it was a race and that you won. So you were born a winner. Around the 3rd or 4th grade, they introduced this concept called success. And so now we've taken off the winning hat and we put the success hat on. That is in my opinion, a man-made construct. We're built to win.
Yeah, I think so too. I think obviously, like you said, the kind of the origin story of how you become a person, it's simply, you're the one out of those millions. And in terms of kind of societal norms, I think in 2019 in business and other walks of life, it's hard because society kind of focuses on that it's not important to necessarily win, like, in terms of kind of participation trophies and things of that nature. But I played, high school sports, was gonna go into kind of D2 scholarship route.
Really?
Got trophies for, offensive MVP in baseball and, played soccer and stuff. But I don't think it prepares kids, especially in higher education, when they're kind of in a vacuum, to go in the real world and deal with failures and setbacks and basically learn something from those and move forward with it, instead of kind of dwell on it and think that, they're the best, why me, that kind of mindset.
Yeah, it actually, failure is the greatest teacher. Failure that's how you learn how to ride a bike. They put little Johnny on the bike and they push you and you fall. And he's like, daggone it. And you get back up and you get back on the bike and they push you again and they push you again until, you basically, your body learns how to auto-correct and develop balance. And if you do not have setbacks, you will not have comebacks. You have to taste failure. It tastes what it tastes like. You have to experience that. What happens with kids is, and I believe that this is going hand in hand with kids that are being teased, that are being bullied, is that when there's no rejection, when there's, no chastisement, when there's none of that, and they live in a vacuum, when they experience it, it is so devastating. They don't know how to manage or channel the actual emotions. That actual emotional muscle has not been developed. Now, I'm not saying that bullying is okay, teasing is okay. Absolutely not. It is extremely devastating. but I believe that we're also doing an actual injustice on the other side by inoculating or protecting our kids against failures and losing in adversity.
I agree. I think in failure, some of the greatest ideas and kind of refinements in human history happen. And also each failure makes you kind of harder, tougher skin, or builds that kind of muscle, that internal kind of shield or armor. So when you do get kind of to the next level, when you level up in life in terms of career or family, and you have a adversity that may have been even tougher than the last, you're kind of prepared and have a thick skin instead of just, collapsing and not knowing what to do. You're kind of prepared for that next challenge.
Yes. I wholeheartedly agree with you 100%. That's just my opinion. I hope this does not offend anyone out there, but I'm not going to shy away with what I believe and obviously what you believe.
I agree. So when was the point where you decided to write The Winning Edge?
You know what? This is crazy. This is a book that's been in my mind for at least 4 to 5 years. And I just been throwing it around, starting, and then I would start, and I would stop, start, and I would stop. It's like 4 to 5 years. And I realized that I am dealing with resistance, and I did not know what was happening, or something would happen, a new opportunity. I said, this is just good old fashioned resistance. And I made up my mind. I said, you know what? I'm going to push through this. I'm going to fight through this with everything in me. I have to push past this barrier. And the truth, Roman, to be really honest, underneath all of that, I've discovered that I was replaying a tape in my mind that, Shawn, you are a failure, you're a loser, you're not supposed to be an author. Remember, you have 4 to 5 documented learning disabilities. Remember, you left high school with a 1.62 cumulative GPA, 9 on your ACT. Being an author is just not in your wheelhouse. And I was just, devastated to just really kind of uncover that. And I just made a point. I said, you know what? I'm going to push through this thing. And I fought. And it's funny because now that the first one's done, I'm like, the second one is just about finished. I'm like, wow. So that's the story behind the actual writing of the book. But I really want to get this concept of winning to the masses because I believe that your winning is right next to your why. And there's a lot of unhappy people out there. And one of the reasons why they're not happy is that they're not in their why. And another reason why they're not happy is because in their gut, they know that they're not winning. I mean, things look great. People are saying, the world's happy, and people are just, happy on Facebook, and everyone's smiling, but in your gut, you know you're not. And I've just made a decision. I have to uncover and expose some tactics and strategies in which you can win in the end.
Yeah, I agree. And I think with social media, it's not an accurate depiction of your life. It's kind of the highlight reel.
Yeah.
And in terms of you getting past kind of your, insecurities about writing the book, at the end of the day, like I say this all the time on interviews I do and on my podcast, that it's you versus you. You let people in terms of negativity. You give them the permission for it to affect you. And then ultimately some of the stuff that, some health issues, some learning issues, anyone that, has something, getting that away and not letting it hold you down and kind of moving past it internally and moving forward.
Yes, definitely. One of the things that come to my mind when you were just mentioning that is, there are certain birds that when they lay eggs, and the little chicken or the little eaglet, whatever the thing is, little bird is trying to, come from the shell. It's like the mom will not help. The dad will not help because it's the pushing out of the shell that gives the baby bird its strength. And if you interfere in that process, that bird will be weak.
Yeah, I agree. It's kind of letting people kind of learn
Yeah.
on their own, or get through some things that you know they're going to get through. It's like, I guess God doesn't give you anything that you can't handle. I mean, at times it feels like very overwhelming with a lot of setbacks and, you know, personal issues, losses, and things of that nature that I've experienced as well. But when you reflect on it, it was kind of a building block and learning how to cope with these types of things in life so you're ready for the next challenge.
Yes, definitely. I couldn't have said it better, so I'm not going to say anything else to it. You got it. You nailed it.
Yeah, sometimes I come up with some good things, but
Yes, you do. Yes, you do. I'm going to have to pick your brain a lot. You do some consulting?
yeah, on the side, you know, I'm more than happy to.
Yeah, cool.
What motivates you to succeed on a personal level?
On the personal level, you know, what is your drive? And, you know, I could say, you know, something, you know, cheesy. I just, you know, want to help the world and this and that. And you know what? No, the truth is that I want to see people win. You know, it's like, I want to see people win. There's nothing worse than getting to that last day of your life. I've experienced this, man. Getting to that last day and you have a ton of regret. I've had a situation, man, it just rocked my world. Someone close to me was dying of cancer. And he, you know, in the last couple of days, and, to make the long story short, he just started apologizing. And I'm like, I don't ever want that to happen. You know, he started apologizing for things that, you know, that he was not able to accomplish. I don't ever want to be in that position to get to the last day. And I don't want no one to be in that position. There's going to be things that you're going to regret doing, but the big things, I don't ever want to be in that position or other people to be in that position. That's one of the things that really drives me.
No, I agree. And like just going through stuff, my grandfather passed away this year. He had a stroke and kind of deteriorated in the hospital. I was by his, you know, bedside for like 10 days. And it's one of those things. I think I spent as much time as I could with him prior. I mean, he had a long, healthy life up until then, but it's, you also regret on the other side of the one that you're looking at the person that's suffering. Like if you could have spent more time with them. So I think it's important, people, especially in kind of the, you know, in the US and other kind of civilized countries that are so caught up with themselves and material things, where at the end of the day, I wish I had, you know, an extra minute or two where I could, you know, convey that I loved them and care about them.
Yes. And you know what? Older people in their, you know, late 70s and 80s and even into the 90s, and just listening to their speech pattern, listening to what they're talking about. They're not talking about, you know, getting to the next level. They're not, you know, talking about the next deal. And they're like, man, let's just go for a walk and let me just talk to you. You know, let me just, you know, invest. And I'm like, I don't want to get to that point where I'm so caught up in production versus reproduction. And that is, you know, that is one of the driving forces behind me. And that's one of the pillars around winning, is having a great manifestation of relationships.
Yep. I mean, it's at the end of the day, that's the most important things. Your friends, your family, your inner circle, and all those other things can always be replaced, like your house, your car, all of that. Even, I mean, money, you lose money, you can always technically make it back, but you'll never make up that time you could have had with those people around you.
Yeah, that's it right there.
So what's one thing that you've seen as a weakness in yourself in the past that you've turned around and turned into a strength?
Well, I'll go easy on this one. I stuttered my entire life, and I could not complete a sentence till college, period. People would ask me to say certain words with S's or P's or B's, and it would take me like 10 seconds just to get that word out. And I'm frustrated, I'm mad, I'm almost sweating, and people are laughing. Or the teacher would ask me a question. I'm like, why did she ask that question? You know I'm going to stutter. It's funny. It's just that at the same time, I had this dream, or just this thought of one day speaking in front of thousands of people. Well, I just focused on where I was going, not where I was at. And I just, and over the years, I've slowed down my speech, and, I would ignore all the speech therapists. You'll never speak normal again. This is going to be real hard for you. This is going to be a struggle for the rest of your life. And, I just made a decision. I'm going to take this weakness and I'm going to turn it into a strength. It's very important because everyone has strengths and weaknesses. And as long as you look at your weakness as a weakness, then you can never improve it. My thing is that I'm not disabled. I am uniquely enabled. They say I have 4 to 5 learning disabilities. That's fine. But I'm not disabled. I am uniquely enabled. And I either perfect my weakness or I'll staff my weaknesses. Doesn't matter.
I agree. And oftentimes, like you said, people will focus on that and have that as kind of a crutch why they didn't do something or why they can't achieve something. But at the end of the day, that's the thing that makes you unique and an individual. And if you tap it, other people can learn from it in similar situations that want to aspire to or get to a level, where you are now.
Yeah. You would. It's funny. You look at the lives of a lot of world changers, a lot of individuals that have gone on and done great things. A lot of them had a ton of weaknesses. One person that comes to mind, she's like my sister. She's my mentor, actually. Her name is Danny Johnson. Phenomenal speaker, great trainer. Man, she's powerful. She had a ton of weaknesses, abused in every way imaginable. She was homeless at 19, 21, 22. She's a multi-millionaire. And just overcoming those struggles and those pains and those adversities. So I've seen it in hundreds of people where they've had a weakness and then they've learned how to use that or circumnavigate that and amplify and turn either weakness or use their weakness to propel them inside of another strength.
Yep. And one thing with public speaking or speaking in front of people, there's been a study where people were surveyed. They say they're more afraid of speaking in public than actually dying.
Yeah, that's amazing. Yeah, that's true.
So even, anyone can get past it. And like you said, a lot of the best speakers are coming from, they may be dyslexic or autistic to a certain level or have other, learning disabilities or, physical ailments, but they still kind of overcame that. And I think at the end of the day, everybody still has that fear being in front of people and speaking or being kind of in the public limelight. But getting your point across and your message where it can help somebody else is more important than that fear.
Yeah, definitely.
So what's one piece of advice you can leave with the audience, personal or professional?
Wow. One of the secrets to success or winning in life is adversity. Adversity can break you, but it also can make you a record breaker. The difference is perspective. Get out of victim mode. Victims always focus on what they're going through. Victors tend to look and what and where they're going to. Get out of victim mode. Look at the adversity. When you see the adversity, feel the pain. I'm not going to tell you to internalize. That's not good. Feel the moment, but listen and look. Both. Listen and look for the opportunity. Listen to what the adversity is telling you. Listen and look for the opportunity, because it could be loading you like a spring to push you forward, or it could be redirecting you, or it could be protecting you.
I agree. And oftentimes people give up because of adversity or something that's happened, but they also kind of give up too soon. Basically, if they could have held on a little longer, the thing on the other side of that would have been so much greater and rewarding if they just kept moving forward.
Yes, definitely.
So I really appreciate you coming on today. Can you let the audience know how they can find you?
Yeah, sure. I'm available for speaking engagements. I'm opening up my coaching and consulting arm. You can order my book, The Winning Edge, off of Amazon. But, you can go to my website, leave a message, a chat, whatever. That'll be cool. Would love to, interact with you. But greater than all of that is this: if life is a game, baby, play to win.
Awesome. Thanks again for stopping by.
Thank you.
This podcast has been brought to you by Nova Zora Digital. Find out how Nova Zora Digital can help your company grow online. Learn more at novazoradigital.com. Until next time, all you digital savages.